It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast on October the 14th, 2022. We have a special guest this morning. The stories today on the news portion of the show, Holland America's 150th anniversary cruise is underway. Arvia to offer first-time brand experience. That's for the P&O folks on the other side of the pond. And a couple stories from the weekend. A very teary farewell to the Carnival Ecstasy. Carnival ended their mask requirements for crew, and the Valiant lady sails on her TA. That's transatlantic voyage. She's heading to the States. Today, folks, is National Pasta Day. You know what to do. Yeah, have some pasta. You can have it for lunch if you're not, or not for dinner. You know, just some kind of pasta. That'd be fine. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. There seems to be some confusion as to Travel and Cruise Industry News, which is the title of the show, and Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast. If you are watching the show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, that is Travel and Cruise Industry News. If you're listening via the podcast, that is the audio track of Travel and Cruise Industry News. So if you're listening to the podcast and you want to jump over to see interviews or pictures or clips, there's always a link in the description to the podcast where you click to hop over to the video feed. And of course, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from, all the big guys. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News. Okay, now, this morning we do have a special guest. He's been here numerous times before. He's one of our regular guests. He's coming to us via the Celebrity Constellation. I think he was in Sicily today, and he admitted earlier that he may not be entirely sober today, and I said that's okay. So here's our buddy Pittsburgh Jason Garland. Welcome back.
Hey, how's it going, Chillie?
Good. All right, you're on the Celebrity Constellation.
Yes.
It's your first time on Celebrity, right?
No, this is my second time.
Second time.
I was on.
Right. You're on.
Yeah, second time. Yeah, two.
What do you think of the ship overall?
I would say that this ship is amazing. Like, I'm not going to say the same thing I say every time, but I'll tell you what, the buffet food is better than the MVR, which is kind of weird. But the chef walked up to me and said, "How do you feel about this food?" And everyone's going to the buffet here. It's like amazing. It's really good. The breakfast buffet, amazing. I've never seen anything like this. Like,
okay. Good to know. You're over in Europe.
Yes.
On your Facebook page, you have some videos of Jen giving us history lessons, which I loved.
Well, she's an art history major, and she wanted me to get into art history. So that's part of the reason we came on this cruise, which I'm going to be completely transparent right here. I'm having more fun on this art history cruise than my Caribbean cruises. Nice. Just because it's relaxing. You can sit down, you're having a glass of wine, you're like talking about the art. You know what I mean? It's just different. Like, I did not realize how nice and fun this could be until you do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. Yeah.
I assume you will go back on another European cruise in the future.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she has one booked for the Greek Island cruise. It's next June, obviously. I mean, I was like, you can't just keep booking these cruises, you know? And I'm all in now. I'm all in. Whatever. It's so fun.
All right. You let's see. What do I have? I have pulled up a couple of things. Oh yeah, you were in Messina.
Yes, Messina was fun today. A lot of fun.
All right, tell us about Messina.
Well, so what we did in Messina is we took a bus tour all the way up to the top, and then we went to the what is that called? Not the Coliseum, but the theater. The theater was so crazy nice. Like you have to walk up a few steps. She's like Jen's always talking to me about Coliseums and Greeks and all this stuff. I'm just like, how do I take all this in, But like the theater was amazing, So I really like here goes my notes.
Yeah.
Theater was amazing. Like it was really fun.
All right. Of course, we do have to mention, since both of us are Pittsburgh guys.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you did prop your feet up.
Yeah.
And you watched
I did.
Steeler action.
I did. I don't know how I did that, but it worked.
It was actually pretty cool, and I'm sorry for our buddy Bethany down in Tampa. But,
sorry,
our
Bethany.
Steelers beat Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday.
Yeah, sorry, Tom.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. And this is Jen. I think she's
pointing at the beach,
telling you where the beach is.
Yeah. So, well, next time we go there, we're going to the beach. We didn't have time to do it this time, but next time we're going there because we're beach people.
Oh yeah. All right, on your Facebook page. And folks, if you are not following Jason Garland on Facebook, you need to, just to watch the video clips that he posts there. I can't steal them like I can steal pictures. So,
Chillie, they're for you, dude. I'm doing
Jen's
this for you,
history lessons are fabulous.
Right.
So, I would be more lost than you are, but I love what she's telling us.
Yeah, she's great.
All right. What's ahead?
So tomorrow we're going to Taormina. Oh, no. Where are we going tomorrow? Let me get my notes back. So tomorrow we don't have a sea day tomorrow. We're going to Portofino actually.
Portofino.
Yeah, Portofino. Yeah. So that'll be nice. No, we're going to Pompeii tomorrow. Sorry, I'm getting it mixed up. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're going to Pompeii tomorrow. All these P's. Yeah, we're going to Pompeii. That'll be nice. So.
All right. Well,
and then we have a sea day, and then yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, we'll be stealing some pictures from you. I promise you that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, give Jen a big hug and a kiss for me.
No problem, dude.
And thanks for taking the time. And there was not too much noise in the background for this.
Yeah, I was really worried about that.
And you do seem reasonably sober, and I say that with a capital R.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, Jason. We'll see you next time. Thanks,
all right,
bud.
thank you so much.
All right. That, of course, is Jason Garland, one of our regulars on Travel and Cruise Industry News. And I tell you what, I'm serious, folks. You need to follow Jason on Facebook just for the clips. They're sensational. All right, let's see what else we have over here. All right, we have 3 Cindys on this channel for a regular guest. There's Cindy Lee that I'm sailing with in 2 weeks, and then there's Hot Air Tom Cindy, and then there's Cindy from Texas, Cindy Davis Weatherall. Well, Cindy Davis Weatherall is on her birthday cruise out of Boston. I've never sailed out of Boston, and that's on my bucket list, folks. But she went to this fish market up there in Boston before the cruise and had a yummy-looking a lobster roll. Of course, I love lobster rolls. I tried to get her to ship me one, but it doesn't seem that they think that it'll ship very well. I was sorry to hear that. And then, of course, Cindy got on board oh, goodness, what ship is she on? My mind just went blank. That's typical of my mind these days. The Voyager of the Seas. Duh. Sorry about being slow. And this was her birthday dinner last night on Voyager of the Seas. Of course, she had a shrimp cocktail, and this was that was the dessert. What happened to the spicy shrimp? Uh-oh, I lost a picture. Her entree was a spicy shrimp dinner, and I've lost a picture. That stinks. This is looking back on the port, and I also lost. Let's see if I still have those up. Yeah, there's one of them. Oh, there's the other one. Okay, so sorry for the dead air, folks. I had two other pictures loaded that disappeared. One was of her spicy shrimp dinner. That was the entree last night. And the other one, when she sailed this morning or this yesterday, looking back toward Boston, and Logan Field and the cruise port are right almost like adjacent to each other. So not only did they have a sail away, but they had planes landing and taking off right over their heads. So that was pretty cool. I do hope to sail from Boston one of these days. I promise to do that. We do have a little more this morning. We do have a couple news stories and a combination of the two coming up after a quick word from one of our network sponsors. All right, our top story today has to do, of course, with Holland America. Holland America, this is a press release from Holland America. Holland America's Rotterdam 7 departed the city of Rotterdam in the Netherlands this weekend on its historic 150th anniversary transatlantic crossing. The 15-day journey recreates Holland America's line's maiden voyage of Rotterdam that departed the city 150 years ago Sunday. The crossing follows the path of the first sailing to New York, with calls in Le Havre, France, and Plymouth in England. Holland America invited fans to come to the cruise port to celebrate in a festive sail away, recreating a departure from centuries past when ships were sent off with fanfare, fireboats spraying water, and a flotilla of local yacht club came to see Rotterdam off, while revelers were given souvenir handkerchiefs to wave. That was all done, and the CEO of Holland America, here's what he had to say about it. Today is historic for our brand as we depart 150 years to the day that Holland America's very first ship began its journey to New York. This, of course, is Holland America President and CEO Gus Van Torsha. In that time, we've carried immigrants, cruising vacationers, soldiers, and refugees, and earned a reputation for extraordinary care and welcoming of all those guests as if into our own homes. As we sail into our next 150 years, that environment of service will be our hallmark as we create exceptional experiences for guests around the world. And Torsha joined dignitaries from the city and the port in a special send-off ceremony. One of the neat things about this, not only is there special things happening all over the cruise, but when they get into New York, there will be a specially commissioned performance on the world stage by past and present Lincoln Center stage performers. Now, a couple cool things happened on the Rotterdam. Number one, our buddy, Bubba Schumard, who we know is on the Rotterdam and on the transatlantic. He and Lynn went into one of the bars, the Tamarind Bar, Saturday night, and it was pretty crowded. And there was a gentleman sitting at the bar that had an empty bar stool on either side of him. So Bubba went up to the gentleman and said, "Excuse me, sir, could I get you to move one way or the other so my wife and I could sit together?" Well, he said, "Of course." So he moved over a seat. Bubba sat down, Lynn sat down behind him, and Bubba started off with the usual conversation of, "Hi, how are you? Where are you from? What do you do?" And the gentleman said, and I'm going to quote from what Bubba said, he sat down, struck up a conversation, and the gentleman said, "Oh, I run the cruise line." And Bubba's response was almost immediately, "Yeah, right. Let's see your ID," and laughed. The gentleman turned to the bartender, whose name was Paola, and said, "Paola, who am I?" And her response was just a immediate smiling, "You're Gus Santorcia, CEO of Holland America." Well, it did take some time for Bubba to wipe the egg off his face, but he and the CEO ended up having a lovely evening, he and Lynn and the CEO, chatting about Holland America. Of course, Holland America's line, Bubba does the daily drink, has been doing it for years now. So he ended up having a nice evening with the CEO. This was earlier today. He's at Omaha Beach as one of the excursions from the ship. And I've got to point out one other thing. I did send Bubba a message this morning. I have not heard back from him yet. I am assuming that is because he's still on the excursion. Some of you might know that two of the content creators for YouTube made a salacious headline yesterday that masks are back on the Rotterdam. Well, if masks are back on the Rotterdam, and as they said, you have to wear the mask anywhere indoors. If you look at that picture, that's the CEO and Bubba, and they're not wearing masks. Now, I sent Bubba a message because I want to see, what is this? Was that just a clickbait kind of headline that they used this weekend? And both of them did it. I realized that they gave Don a mask when he got on. That does not mean you're required to wear a mask. All the cruise lines still recommend you wearing masks indoors, but it's no longer required. If masks are back, there might be a specific reason on that ship. Okay, if that's the case, then let's talk about the specific reason. I have been able to find out absolutely nothing having to do with any problems on the Rotterdam, having to do with masking on the Rotterdam. So at this point, my guess is don't believe everything you hear on YouTube, because a lot of times that ain't true. Anyway, I don't do that, and I will never do that. All right. P&O for our folks over on the other side of the pond. P&O Cruises, newest LNG-powered ship, Arvia, will host a number of never-before-seen firsts for the line, including new wellness experience in the Oasis Spa and Health Club, and new experiential shopping zones and retail brands in the Avenue. New experimental shopping zones. Wow. Get my mouth working here this morning. And by the way, folks, just to make this clear, the name of the ship is Arvia, Arvia, not Arriva, like some of my other competitors are trying to say. If you look at the ship, you can see it painted on the side, Arvia, that's Arvia. With a guest capacity of 5,200 people, the 16-deck Arvia will also have first ever dedicated men's area, complete with a barber station for haircuts, male grooming with collections from leading brands such as American Crew, Clinique for Men, Barber Pro, and Clarins for Men, offering beauty and grooming services for both women and men. The salon will have specialty color bar, advanced technology, luxurious Kerastase hair treatments, and expert technicians. With 8 individual ocean view treatment rooms, the Oasis Spa and Health Club's latest innovations will include a cool room, a salt room, and 2 exclusive wellness suites with treatments. Additionally, one of the suites will have a hammam, while another will feature a steam shower, and both will offer private treatment baths and lounging space with light refreshments. What's a hammam, you want to know? I wasn't sure either and looked it up. That's a Turkish bath. The Oasis Spa treatments will include options such as a deep tissue bamboo massage, aroma stone therapy, or a restorative salt stone massage, a treatment that uses warm blocks of mineral-rich Himalayan salt. Another new offering on board the XL-class ship will be available through its onboard shopping destination. The 900 square meters of open plain retail space, the Avenue, which introduces new experimental shopping zones. There, I got it out that time. The first-time options at the Avenue will include an area showcasing the latest in tech at sea, a design-your-own fine jewelry bar, and Pandora Brilliant showcasing the brand's new range of lab-produced diamonds. It will also hold the first at sea Swarovski Wonder Lab concept store, featuring the latest collections of Swarovski's new creative director, Giovanni Engelbert. Guests will also be able to shop in 30 additional brands that are new to the fleet, including Rado watches, Floral Street fragrances, Cutswell's distillery, and 25 alternate sustainable brands such as Skin Regiment and Comfort Zone. Boasting the latest eVolt 360 botter scanning technology, Arvia's Gym and Health Club will have well-being consultants available to guests and offer classes including Tour de Cycle, Body Sculpt Boot Camp, Pure Form Pilates and Yoga, and Functional Stretch. I like that. Congratulations to P&O and the Arvia. The Valiant lady from Scarlet Lady has sailed on her transatlantic. She's coming over here to the States, and there'll be probably an equal celebration to the same one the Scarlet Lady has received. So that information will be coming up in the future. And a couple things from this weekend worth mentioning. The Carnival Ecstasy, we had to say goodbye to her. Here's what, that of course was the little short video I put up this weekend of saying goodbye to the Ecstasy. And the other one this weekend, I did the same thing, was over Carnival dropping the mask requirements for crew. After nearly 16 months of cruising, crew on board Carnival Cruise Line ships are no longer required to wear a face mask while carrying out their duties. The cruise line implemented the new rule yesterday, October the 14th. For details on this and other news, join me Monday for Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. All right, that was the Carnival mask requirement is no longer for the crew on Carnival ships. It'll be interesting to see how the crew reacts to that. Remember, I was on Norwegian when they dropped theirs, and I'm saying 60% of the crew kept their masks on. So just because it's not required, folks, does not mean you can't mask. I keep my mask with me all the time. If I'm uncomfortable, I'll put that sucker on in a heartbeat. But I don't think it's required anywhere anymore. Suggested yes. All right. And when I hear back from Bubba on if there's anything that I don't know about on the Rotterdam, I'll let you know. I promise that. That does wrap up the news portion of today's show. So let's go see who's fussing at me in the chat room. All right, let's see who's with us this morning. Hot Air Tom is in. It says, great, Jason's a guest. Hope his internet is good. I don't know if he had a chance to explain to that. He's using some kind of a European SIM card. I'm not sure how that works. That is way over my technical expertise. But yeah, that was a really good signal. He tested it out from a couple places on the ship, and it was solid. Good sound, good picture. And I'll have to get some advice from him on the SIM card business, how he did that. Of course, Jason's a lot more technically advanced than I am. Mike's with us. I'm Mike. Nikki's here. Hi, Nikki down in Jacksonville. Dennis is with us. Says, hello, Chillie. The Boston port is not desirable. There's a Morton Steakhouse nearby and a couple nice hotels. I've not done Boston, but I've spent a lot of time in Boston, so there are sections that are pretty rough. But yeah, still, it's one of the ports that I need to experience. So I hope to do that. I hope to add a number of ports this year that I haven't been to. I mean, one of them, the closest one coming up, I definitely know I'm going out of Tampa. I've not been out of Tampa before. I'm also got a cruise booked out of Bayonne. I've not been out of Bayonne. I have been out of New York, both the other ports in New York. But I've never been out of Boston. So book the Canadian and Bermuda cruises from NYC instead. That's probably a good suggestion. By the way, one of the things that Cindy Weatherall did point out was that the Canadian rules are still a little strange. And here's what she said. Canada has some weird rules. Even though they have opened their borders, while we are docked, we can only have one bar per deck open. Once we leave the port, all bars on the ships will be allowed to open. We also have to fill out a declaration before we are allowed to dock. Everyone on the ship has to fill it out. Must be turned in by Tuesday night. We will be docking in Nova Scotia and St. John. So they're going to Halifax and St. John. So Canada still has some strange rules. Not surprising. Jason says, I completely bombed that at the end. No, you didn't. Mr. Bucket List is with us. How's it going? Good to see you again. He and I were together on the Alaska cruise. Dennis says hello to Justin. It's rather impolite to ask people what they do. Well, yeah, well. Clickbait to get money. Well, I guess. I just don't like the salacious headlines, especially if it turns out that they're not true. I hate that. Don was way too whiny in that video. I couldn't watch it. That's why I don't watch Don very much. I refuse to watch Tony and Don. I do watch Tony on occasions. I do check him out. I don't watch him every day. Masks never went away. That's what I say. The job doesn't protect you from getting it. It only protects from possibly dying from it. That's correct. The vaccination does the same. The proper guidance is to continue wearing a mask when around others. I don't disagree, Dennis. Same here, Jason. Mr. Bucket List says, sorry I'm late. I had a meeting. Well, Cindy, shame on you for being late. I will, when I'm with you in a couple weeks, I will beat you with a wet noodle. Since today's National Pasta Day, I'll save a strand of pasta and beat you with it for being late on the 17th of October. How's that? Tony La Vida, yes, Tony La Vida Loca. During the cruise shutdown, it really opened my eyes to the lies people will say to get views. I know. Don made his following off having cancer and getting better. We need to get Chillie to 10,000 followers. Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with them. My goal is 60,000 by tomorrow. Now, you can count on that. But yeah, 10,000 would be lovely. Cindy says, I'm enjoying Jason's post. Love the pics and videos. Me too, Cindy. And Jen's history lessons are fabulous. Just fabulous. Sonny's with us. Hi, Sonny down in Mississippi. Dennis said, Jason, he was practically having mental breakdowns in 2020. Cindy Lee, the ship is going to be in Tampa soon. Yeah, and I just, as a matter of fact, one of the things I did this morning, I talked to some folks about the possibility of getting one of their bargain offers. And can I use my Royal Caribbean loyalty to get a celebrity offer? Because that's one of the things I want to do is get a celebrity in 2023. I need to, I've got to witness some celebrity cruises. So I'm working on that. Again, folks, right at the moment, I'm only booking extreme bargains. So if I book something, I've gotten the deal. There's no doubt about it, because I just, came and I had a chance to book. I'm going to be transparent as I can be, folks. I had a chance to book a Royal Caribbean super deal yesterday. I mean, unbelievable deal. And I passed because I've got 5 cruises coming up. I know that's going to take some money out of pocket. I don't want to run myself short on the cruises I've got coming up. So I passed on a deal. So hopefully, maybe when we replenish some of the money in the account, we'll get an offer similar to that in the future. Dennis can list many awful cruise vloggers. Well, and Justin says, me too. Chillie's fun to watch. Well, you guys all know that I'm as honest as possible. And if I make a mistake, I'll own up to the mistake. I don't care. Hey, look at all the times I've had technical issues where I've screwed it up. Yeah, I own up to that kind of stuff. But I promise you, I will never clickbait you. I mean, if my headline says something unusual, it's because that's the headline for the day, and that's something that I have verified from numerous places. I'm an old school reporter from back in the late 60s and early 70s. If you're a reporter in any way, shape, or form, you didn't even think about a story until you had it at least verified 3 times. It's just the way we worked in those days. We need to get back to that. Online. So, And yes, I try to be fun to watch. I admit I do enjoy providing a little humor, even if it's my own expense quite often. Don't mind that in the least. And I will always try to do silly things at all costs. I will try again to do live streams. I'm hoping that I can actually start doing some live stream tours that I failed miserably on. Which one was that? Was on Symphony of the Seas. That's such great thoughts, and I failed miserably with that. So I'm hoping that I can work that one out this time on these next 5 ships. Celebrity Constellation, Jason's on. Yes, that's correct. Cindy says Chillie has shorts on YouTube that are better. Well, yeah, I've started playing a lot more with that. I'm trying different lengths. I just posted one on the Peekaboo Bridge back from on Adventure of the Seas. I'm not even sure I even mentioned the Peekaboo Bridge before, which was a pretty cool thing on that ship. I don't remember when I was on Symphony this last time if I even looked to see if there was such a thing. It's one of the things I need to check on every Royal Caribbean ship when I'm on, because that was really cool. It was just a little way around, and you could sit up there and actually look down into watching the guys driving the boat. Big steering wheel. Well, it's not a steering wheel; it's a push button. But anyway, yeah, and in the captain's bridge. And sometimes it might be the captain, sometimes it might be the first officer. I mean, whoever's on duty at the time. And that was open 24 hours a day. You could always do it. Sonny says, Chillie is the best vlogger. Thank you very much. He's honest and fun and has a great time. I'm always going to try that. Cindy says, we appreciate your honesty and fact checking. Yeah, well, that's it. I'm going to make sure it's correct before I say it. And then if I should say something that ends up not being true, I'm going to tell you that too. This time. Yeah, I hate that. Anyway, I saw my first one on Mariner. It was really cool. Yeah, that was fun. So anyway, I'm playing with all kinds of shorts now. I've been doing more with shorts and like nothing on long form video right now. I need to start probably mixing more long form video in, but at least the shorts are helping bring new folks to the channel. So, and that still has to be my ultimate goal, is to reach that 60,000 subscriber mark, or Jason's 10,000 subscriber mark. That would be cool too. And then maybe there's enough income from the ad revenues that I don't have to pay for all this out of my pocket. That's, yeah. And I tell you, when I get a free cruise, like, I had a free cruise that all I had to pay was the taxes and port charges on. And I told you about that. So, yeah, if I get something like that, that's cool. Yeah, we're trying to get, some sponsorship deals. It looks like, it's not set in stone yet, but it looks like Scootaround might be providing me with scooters for about 3 cruises. That's cool. I have not been able to sit down with my agent yet on how we're going to do that, if that does work out. I mean, what I'd like to do and what he wants to do as far as the podcast broadcast goes, I don't know. What I'd love, where I put that little donut in for a network sponsor, I would love to just do a commercial right there that serves both the podcast audience and the live stream audience. I mean, that would be, to me, it would be a win-win situation. Admittedly, folks, yeah, commercials are a thing that are going to happen, because that's how you end up paying for this, unless you're like these guys that have 130,000 viewers, and I'm sure they get, $10,000, $20,000 a month from YouTube. Well, I get, like $123 a month from YouTube, or 100. I think my best My best month this year was $201. So, that doesn't get me to first base, much less to second or third. So anyway, that's being a little creator like I am. So, but I will promise you to always shoot straight from the hip, tell you the way I see it. And it's not going to be anything that I just pick up and blab. It's going to be proven before I even put it on the air. That's just the way I do it. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. We do have a special guest tomorrow, as we have Pete Hall's going to be with us from Passion for Cruises and Cruising for Solos. And, Pete is the first person I think that has ever hosted a group cruise with 300 solo guests. 300 solo cabins on one ship. I want to talk to Pete about that tomorrow, right here. So Pete's going to be with us in the morning. All right, guys, that's it for today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. This is the old fat travel guy. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.